Thanks for joining us for another Insights video edition. I'm Sheila Fordson. The topic of workplace safety and the role of technology is one you've probably been hearing a lot about. And in workers' compensation, the evolution of the way we work brings new and changing exposures to worker injuries. NCCI conducted interviews with industry stakeholders to get their perspectives for a multi-part series titled The Future of Workplace Safety Technology is Now. It begins with the carrier's perspective. Joining us for a discussion you don't want to miss is Damian England, NCCI Executive Director of Affiliate Services. Damian, how are you?
I'm doing wonderful. How are you doing?
Wonderful. Thank you for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
So, Damian, why is NCCI addressing this topic and why now?
We've heard continually from our carrier stakeholders about this concern, top of mind, shifting workforce, the role of the workers changing. And as we've been traveling and talking to carriers over, I would say the last couple of years, we continue to hear more about what is this wearables thing. It started with the wearables, but it's more what's safety technology and what is it doing now to prevent injuries. So that's kind of how it started. So we thought, what a perfect time to find out more about this topic.
And you mentioned wearables and technology. What are some of the different types of wearables out there?
So not an all-inclusive list, but we've looked at, as we talked to the carriers so far, there's really 5 core areas. And those are, first is wearables. And a lot of people know wearables as like sensors that are on your body that can detect body temperatures, blood pressures, but there's many different types. They monitor, they support, they can give you structural support. They can also be used for training purposes and proximity location tracking. So that's wearables. The second one is what we call it's video AI. So what they do is facilities can use video cameras that they have in their operation, incorporate that with AI technology to actually look and analyze and determine hazards real time and for analysis.
And AI being artificial intelligence.
Artificial intelligence, yes, I should have clarified that. The third one being software. And when I say software, it's you can use like video camera on a phone, and you can actually video a process or an operation, incorporate that with analytics and use it for risk assessment to prevent injuries. Another one that would be is drones. As most people know, unmanned systems that the drones can actually look at hazards without actually putting people in danger. Another one that we've looked at is Internet of Things. And a lot of people know that, like in your smart home. It can be where hardware can actually talk back and forth to detect things like, is the temperature too hot? Do we need to adjust the lighting to create, a better environment?
Is there a specific focus area for safety technology?
So that's a good question. So as we've talked to the carriers and others so far, there are certain areas that they look at, and some of them are probably because maybe it's an easier focus right now, but they're looking at injury types as well as like certain type industries where the technology may be more applicable. Like, for example, injury type. Like back injuries is one that comes out. And when you look at NCCI data, 12% of all lost time injuries are lower back related. So that makes sense. And certain industries like manufacturing, warehousing, logistics, because of the nature of the operations, and somewhat because of the 4-wall setup, it makes it more, I don't want to say easy, but more applicable for some of the technologies.
So when you talked about the wearable technology that's out there, obstacles to implementation, what are some of those obstacles that you learned about from carriers?
So we heard primarily, there was kind of 3 that we heard. One is privacy, and that one's been in place since we talked about it in 2019. And that's really employers and employees maybe not necessarily knowing and understanding and trusting that people are going to be looking at them, they're going to be monitoring them. So there's that issue about the privacy and the trust. The other one is probably the cost and the return on investment. And how much are these technologies going to cost if I put these in my operations, and how much are they going to save? How many injuries are they going to prevent? Those type of analysis that are going on. Still early in the game. I think that's going to grow as these technologies become more prevalent. And then the last one is really the employer culture and change management. And that's really, do they have a culture of safety, culture of trust throughout their organization? And when they change management, how do you make sure that everybody knows that the purpose of this is really to prevent injuries and make sure everybody goes home safe at night?
Now, to me, this sounds like a game changer, right? What about to you? Is this a game changer for the industry?
Well, to me versus what we heard, I'll keep those separate. We did ask that question to all of them, is this a game changer? We heard differing answers. We heard absolutely and not sure, from that. But the one thing that we did hear as we asked that question is every one of the carriers we interviewed says that safety technology is definitely going to be in the future. So it's the common theme. Everybody sees that there's a potential to reduce injuries, and everybody wants that. Everybody wants to reduce employee injuries.
Absolutely. And speaking of the future, there is more upcoming with this series. Can you talk about what we can expect in future installment?
Absolutely. So we've already started. So what we're trying to do is give a perspective. We started with the carriers. We're going to move on to what we call the vendor, the suppliers, what I call actually technology creators is probably a better word, and getting their perspective with the same type of questions. And then we want to try to conclude the series with the employers or the policyholders that are implementing these things.
Find the first and future installments of this article in the Insights portal of NCCI.com. Follow us across social media for those real-time NCCI updates, including news about webinars, events, and more. And subscribe to Channel NCCI right here on YouTube so you never miss a video update. I'm Sheila Fortson. Join us next time when we discuss the issues at the top of the workers' comp agenda from the source you trust.